Welcome back, everyone, to our recap of Week 2 here at the PUBG Mobile Global Championship. I'm Jason Kaplan. If you haven't seen the show, you might not know who I am, but now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Anyways, let's take a look at how teams played throughout our second week of league play and then qualified through into our second Super Weekend. Starting off on our first page here, you're going to see the teams that you expected. 4 Angry Men in there, Bigatron, we get Footballist, Godsent though, maybe a team you didn't necessarily expect, able to get themselves in 4th place overall and qualify themselves through to their very first Super Weekend. We got Secret Gym, Power AAA, KPS, Nova, Execute of course as well. All teams returning into their second Super Weekend. As we hop over to our second page, we're going to see some other teams, maybe some new ones, who knows, able to play in their very first one. And yes, we do have Zeus Esports and A1 Esports, 2 new teams as well to qualify through into our second Super Weekend, but their first one they're going to be playing in. But you got your Bluebees, your RQ Athena, probably happy that they will are hoping Max doesn't curse them anymore is what I should be saying. Kanita Power gets in there, Class Dojo Athletics, but the real story for me, look at the very bottom, Loops Esports, barely qualifying through at 52 points, and Navi once again, they missed it last week by 3 points. This week they miss it by 4, and they unfortunately, as well as some other teams, have to sit out. Team Secrets in there, Airwolf Lee Max is in there, Abrupt Slayers as well. 3 teams that we saw do fairly well when it came to our very first Super Weekend, but because of that, they could not participate, which meant going into league play or going to the Super Weekend for week 2, 69 points was that threshold that Abrupt Slayers were on, and if any team passed that, they would fall below 16th place. Let's maybe just hop straight into now our recap of what happened in the second Super Weekend and how the points have all unfolded for all 19 now of our teams who are participating. Bigatron, 4 AM going head-to-head constantly when it came to our first place, and you can see Bigatron do come out ahead at the very end by 4 points themselves. But then we get down to 3rd place for RQ Athena. 68-point gap between 2nd and 3rd place, and you look at 3rd to 8th, it's only a 35-point difference. So massive discrepancies between our top 2 and the rest of the teams here. But Loops barely getting themselves into the Super Weekend do get themselves overall 4th at the end of the week. Power AAA, KPS have moved up the leaderboards into 6th place, and Nova XQF just barely holding on to this front page. So we look now towards the second. 235 is the cutoff for 8th place, and 233 is what Kanina Power has. So they're still in that constant battle of being into our top 8 placings. Alpha 7, honestly, having a very rough week when it came to our Super Weekend, as well as Footballers, Bluebees, but someone who had a phenomenal week. Out of 15 matches, scoring 115 points, it's A1 Esports who actually not only passed the 3 teams who weren't playing in the Super Weekend, but they also passed Execute, who has played in both. 30 matches to 15, and they beat them out by 1 point. As we take a look now at our 3rd and final page, remember, we had 3 teams who didn't return. Zeus Esports, who did get to play in their very first one, are unable to make it into the top 16. Abrupt Slayers, that 69-point threshold, have fallen down into 18th place. And Godsent, who did so well in league play, not able to transition that over into the Super Weekend. So some fortunate placings for some teams, but either way, it is a good start for teams like Godsent and Zeus to get themselves closer to holding on to a top 16 placing if they can re-qualify again into our next week. Now, to remind you guys at home, we do have an MVP award overall from the entire tournament, where they'll be getting themselves 10,000 bucks on top of whatever they win from our finals. Well, this week, it's going to be Ryzen. It's going to be none other than the man, the Bush Boy, to win it out for Bigatron on that Miramar match. And we'll take a look at some of his highlights. And of course, we'll see you guys next week for week 3 of the PMGC.